Hello adventure riders from around the world. I know that you want to see this bike from a long time. Until now I don't have the chance, but now I have it. So I'm gonna make a detailed video review of BMW GS 1250. Stay with me. Welcome back. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Pavlin. I am a motorcycle traveler. In my channel I usually upload anything related to long motorcycle trips, but I also do a lot of video reviews of the famous adventure motorcycles like the one I'm gonna do it today. So this is probably a good reason to subscribe and check the notification bell so you don't miss anything. Okay, let's go to the bike. So until now I did not have the chance to ride this machine properly, but thanks to my cameraman Lyndon and Toro Adventure, I've got this chance for yesterday and today to ride it in any kind of conditions, include some off-road, and to really see what this bike is. It is made for whom, for what purpose, when you can ride it and where you cannot ride it. So I'm gonna tell you everything about it. Alright, as usual, I'm gonna give you some brief specifications. I'm not gonna dive deep in this because you can find it in internet. But this 1250, you know, this is the famous boxer, and it has a little bit more power. This engine actually is 136 horsepower compared to the old model 1200, which is 125 or something similar. But it has the same boxer, the feeling is the same. It has a 19-inch front wheel and 17 on the back. The new with this model that it has this beautiful gold shiny wheels, which I really like, and it has this tubeless spoke wheels, which is a very good if you plan to have some dirt rolls. And of course all of this protection and everything, I really need to see is it coming stock or not. Maybe not, I'm not sure about it. It has a 20-liter petrol tank. It's not like the famous Adventure with 30 liters, but I will say that these 20 liters are more than enough to give you something like a almost 320 kilometers range, which is fine. The exhaust, the stock muffler, it's big, huge, like a pig, but it sounds really nice, and I don't think that you really need to change it with a Krapovich or something unless you really want to. Let me show you how the bike suits ergonomically to someone with my size. So as you know already, I'm 185, little above 6 foot, and the bike is big, it's massive, but it's not that tall. The seat height is 85 centimeters. I believe I will put the detailed sizes in the video, but it has two levels. This is the higher level of the seat, and you can lower it with probably around 2 centimeters. So let me sit on it to show you how it fits to someone with my size. Okay, as you can see, I have a perfectly flat feet on the ground, and I can have even more. I can have at least more 5 centimeters, which is mean that if you are 180 or maybe even 178, you will be still alright. Maybe if you're 175, you have to go on tippies, but in common you'll be fine. And the riding position for someone like me, my size, is just perfect. As I told you, I rode this bike for 2 days, and I never feel uncomfortable or not on the place. And to be honest, I do not need any bar risers, even that we spent a lot of time on the dirt roads and I spent a lot of time standing on the bike. It was still fine. Let me try to show you the standing position now. I hope I'm not gonna break. So see what is the standing position. So even if without any bar risers, it's good for me because I have this position bent forward and my chin is around the level of the handlebar, which is good. So this bike is perfectly suitable for tall guys, even if they want to go off-road without any additional changes, which is good. And something very important, Lyndon just told me that because of the way how they designed the handlebar, if you actually untie these bolts and move the handlebar just a little, maybe 2-3 centimeters forward, it's actually going higher, and this will give an extra maybe 1 centimeter for taller riders, so you don't really need to put anything in. This is very good, very clever. About the overall design, I don't think that I have to say much. It's a beautiful bike. I really like the color, especially this, and blue, white, red. It's just perfect. Lyndon, show me your helmet. You see what helmet he has? Oh, absolutely perfect.
Brand new.
Brand new. Look at this, the helmet and the color of the bike. It's absolutely perfect. Thank you very much. It's wonderful. So the design, it's great. I cannot say any bad word about it. All colors, and I really like this gold wheels, the design of the windscreen. I will say this is not really proper for someone with my size, but if you keep in mind that this bike is more like maybe adventure or off-road orientated, so you can have your own windscreen if you like. The seat is really comfortable, as I spent already 2 days on it. It is good. It's one whole seat, but they've got options for separate seats, yeah?
There is a king and queen seat. This is the off-road seat, so you can slide back on the seat
Yep,
if you need
yep,
to do off-road.
Yep. Okay, so they have option of 2 different seats, and let's see the rest. So for example, foot pegs, perfect. Ideal if you have plans to go and ride off-road. What I really like from BMW is the brake pedal, because when you go on the dirt, when you sit on most of the time on standing position, this is a perfect addition here to have a proper grip. Otherwise you have to go too low. So this is really clever.
It's the one thing that I find that is a problem, that I think the brake pedal is too low.
Too low,
Me,
yeah.
As an off-road rider,
Yeah.
we've put on this bike the Adventure, where you can get an extra additional top part. I've actually used a Toro one to make it even more so.
Yeah.
And still, I feel like I want the pedal higher. So for pure off-road, then for me it's one of the things that the pedal and the travel, not so much the height of the actual brake lever, then the travel when you stood up, it's quite a long reach for the rear brake. One of the few things that I would change on the bike, if you're serious about off-road, to get the highest brake pedal you can do.
Absolutely, I really like this. It costs not that much, but it makes a big difference, isn't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay, let's go to the handlebar and the dashboard. Okay, as we expect from BMW, everything looks absolutely perfect, exactly on the place. This is new. They start to add it from few years. It's a SOS button, so if you press this, you'll have a direct connection. Somebody will come and then you'll have a huge bill, isn't it?
It can do. Or when the bike falls over,
Oh.
you have an automatic message onto the screen to say, "Are you okay?" And you have a certain amount of time to switch the switch. So very clever system. But we found in the sand in Morocco, you have many
many texts.
They think you've died 15 times an hour.
Let's go to see the dashboard now. Absolutely brilliant. The way they design it is just like a game. It's so nice and so visible. And this now, what you see now on the top of the screen, is actually a plastic protection, so it's not the real screen. The screen is absolutely perfectly visible, and the GPS here, it's all perfectly well designed. This plastic addition here, this actually shade cover, whatever the name is, it's not a stock. They order it because they spent a lot of time in the desert, and this really give them the shade they need to see well. And yeah, as you can see, a lot of buttons to play here. I'm not gonna dive with all of this because I can spend actually here half an hour. Yeah, I can spend half an hour playing with all of these features. And at the end, I will waste your time. Just the basic things, you can find a lot of videos about it. The windscreen is adjustable from here, but as you can see, it is not much. This is very short if you plan to have off-road, and this is the maximum if you want to go on the road, but it is not much. All right, let me show you the front. The headlight design is absolutely amazing, and what Lyndon just told me, it's about this grille. I know that not many people like the grille. They prefer to have the massive plastic protection, plastic cover, but because this is a LED light with the plastic protection, it could overheat really easy. That's why they prefer to have the grille. The massive peak here they've got, I'm not a big fan of this, but any GS lover, they just got it. On the side of that, they've got this plastic mudguard here, and the distance, I believe it's all right, as long as you're not going to go to a deep mud, but this bike is not for deep mud anyway. And as you know, this is already water cooled, so the radiators are well protected with plastic, but I think this is more than enough. You don't need to spend money for some kind of special aluminum protection or stuff like that. It has a damper. Of course, it's a heavy bike, you really need this. The suspension is very good. The front suspension got 190 millimeters, I think, suspension travel, and the rear is 200. The brakes are just amazing, absolutely brilliant. I cannot say any bad word, and I don't think that anyone will believe if I say something bad about the brakes. and the shock, of course, depends on the level you've got and what you paid for. But this dynamic suspension, I think it's not stock. You have to order it separately, which will rise the price, of course. All right, finally, let's start the engine now. Nice, isn't it? And this is a stock muffler. A lot of systems here, a lot of systems. As I said, I'm not gonna dive into all of this. Alright, let me give you a few words about the protection. First we'll go with these hand guards. They're from plastic, so if you really want to see the world and plan to ride this motorcycle, and especially on off-road, I will highly recommend to have a proper with a metal frame in. Otherwise the first drop and you will break it. So let's go now to these crash bars, the famous BMW crash bars. One thing you have to know, that they are not stock. When you buy the bike, you have to buy it, especially this one. You have to buy it because sooner or later you will face the reality, and what I mean, you will face the ground, and then you can break your the most vital parts of the engine, the cylinder heads. And for this model, for the old model 1200, they've got a specific metal plate from Toro to protect the head here, but they still don't have it on that model, but I hope they will come soon. So this is a must, this is an optional if you want, if you like to protect the plastics here, because the plastics are in terrible prices, I have to say. When you go to the shop to buy it, you have to scream first and then buy it, because they are really pricey. Something very simple Lyndon just showed me is this protector here on the drive shaft, because it is cheap actually, but you can see it is already damaged a few times, so it's really work well here to spend a little money and have this on the bike. All right, few more things are worth it to mention now. This is the brakes. As I told you, this is BMW brakes. It's supposed to be Brembo, or used to be Brembo. Now they are BMW. But what Lyndon just told me, that this company who make the brakes, BMW brakes, are actually owned by Brembo, so there is no difference. It's the same story, and the brakes are great. And another one thing he just said is the location of this crash guard here. It's actually protect the exhaust pipe, because in the older models the engine was on the different position, so these crash bars actually did not protect the pipes, but now they are fine. And also another purpose of this crash guard here is to protect the radiators, because if you fell on the side, you might damage the radiators. So this pipe here, this is very important pipe where actually all the coolant is going. It's a little bit more exposed if you ask me, but you can protect it easily with some aftermarket solutions. These are not my tongs, they were here before. Don't get me wrong with these pink tongs. So the tile is nice, typical BMW design. And what is interesting, they've got this self-canceling indicator system. I don't know how exactly does it work with a certain time on when you level at the bike or straighten at the bike. I don't know, but it's worked really well, so you actually cannot forget your indicators. All right, enough talks. Let's jump on the bike and ride. One thing I want to say, that it is so easy to ride motorcycle. Even if you've never been on these motorcycles, it is so easy to ride it. You don't really need some kind of special skills to ride. Yeah, some special skills to ride a big motorcycle or something like that. You jump on it and it is made for you. All the ergonomics and everything, and because of this low center of gravity, thanks to the design of the boxer, yeah, it is so easy to ride for almost everyone. So if you're a new rider and you want to jump to one of these, but you worry that it might be too big for you, don't even worry about it. It is alright. It is just alright. And as I said, the suspension, it's really good. And even that I'm a heavy guy, I can feel it, that it will absorb the bumps well. And as I rode it already on the dirt roads, dirt tracks, I can confirm that it works really well. Yeah, so I'm really impressed. So far, so good. The twisty roads like this, I will say that it's a pure pleasure to ride it, because the bike will do exactly what you need it. It will move on the side you need, it will bend as long as you need. It is just really predictable bike. You don't have any unexpected turns or something like that, so it will work really well. And it has more than enough power to do everything. If I want to do maneuvers here, U-turn on these small roads, because of the low center of gravity and everything I just showed you, it is so easy. You don't really need to worry that it's big, it is heavy, I cannot control it or something like that. No, it is absolutely fine. What you need is just to play with the clutch a little bit, and you have all what you need, everything what you need. You don't really need to worry about that. It is just perfect. Yeah, all right. Yeah, absolutely great. Very well designed. I'm impressed from BMW. On a road like this, oh man, pure pleasure. And it doesn't matter with what speed you ride, the one you can afford, it will always work. If you're a good rider and you're capable to ride with 100 kilometers here, it will handle it. If you're a new rider and 40-50 is enough for you, it will handle it. This one, I have to confess, it's a very well designed motorcycle. Look at now how it's handled the turns. Oh, absolutely brilliant. One of my close friends is afraid to go on the roundabout because he was worried that he might drop the bike. Well, GS 1250, it's a roundabout pleasure, I will say. Such a easy task. Look at now the power if I want. If I want, I can drive it like a real sport bike. It is such a predictable bike and you have everything you need. So if you want to ride it like a sport bike, be my guest, you can do it. And the corners are just a pleasure, just a pleasure. Oh man, I like the power. It's like a smooth ship going between the waves. Look at now Lyndon, how he enjoyed. Oh man. And the scenes, wow, we couldn't find better place to film this review. I'm so pleased I came. Ah, huge. Look at this. See this tunnel? It was used in the famous movie. I forgot the name. Oh man, this was just magic place. Ah man, I love this. Left and right. Ah, beautiful. What a road, Lyndon. Thank you very much. Visibility in the mirrors, very good. Even that they are small, I don't know, the position they added, it's just good. Its visibility is very nice behind me. One thing about the throttle, because it is an electronic throttle without cable, it's maybe because of the way they set the injection system, it's a little chunky. So when you have when you twist the throttle, I hope you will be able to hear it now. You don't have this very smooth power. It's come at a very fast, like boom, at the same time. And it's the same for the clutch. It's go very fast. But I think these are things which you're gonna learn very fast, just after a few minutes riding, and then you'll know how it reacts and how to control it. And you can see by yourself the visibility of the TFT display, how good it is. Even the light is behind or in front, you can see it all the time. It's just very good. For commuting, the bike is just perfect. If you can afford it, yeah, why not? It has more than enough power. The petrol consumption is no more than 5 liters per 100 kilometers. It is easy to overtake. You can load some luggage, which is not a problem. So yeah, commuting, perfect. After 2 days and more than 600 kilometers, I can confirm that the stock seat is absolutely fine. Or my ass is fine, I don't know, but I cannot find any issues with it. I have no problem with the comfort. It's alright, for me it's just very good. And something very important, and I really think that it deserves attention, are the systems the bike got. This traction control, hill assistance, ABS and all stuff like that. All of these systems are absolutely must and necessary for such a heavy, powerful and expensive motorcycle. Let me explain you why. Because it is very easy to lose control when you don't have it. For someone who has a lot of experience in riding motorcycles for many years will be fine, but for some people who just get into it and they want to have these powerful bikes and they ride it very fast, the systems are something absolutely crucial. They're not gonna help you in all cases, but they will help you in a lot of cases. And that's why I think that they are just must. They're just must. Just to end the conversation with the systems, they are really useful, and if you have it on such a bike, don't even turn it off. They will help you a lot, even on the dirt roads. Don't try to play macho if you're not ready for it. That's it. And now what we're gonna show you is what is to ride this bike in the city conditions, just normal conditions, like everyday traffic, stop and go, small streets, parkings, narrow streets, just something like what we do now at the moment. Just to show you that because of the way it's designed and the way how the weight actually is distributed, it's make it perfect bike for that purpose. And one thing that many people said, and this is the position of the cylinders create a lot of heat, which is right, absolutely, especially when you ride in the summer. But because I ride always with boots, for me this is not a problem. If you plan to ride with, let's say, jeans, or even worse, with short leaves, of course it will be a problem, a big problem, because of this heat from the cylinders. But otherwise it is just fine. So let's see now. Up hills, down hills, small streets, narrow hills. It has also this hill assistance, which I cannot show you now. I need to stop to show the hill assistance, but it just helps you to stop and go on the hills. Even smaller streets like this, narrow. To feel the Spanish spirit here. Ah man, wonderful. And now in this very smooth service, I can feel how the ABS is working, because it's just too smooth to provide enough braking with the normal brakes, and the bike is heavy. And that's why I said about the systems that they are just must. They are must. Alright, we did it even even more than I was planning to do. All good, yeah. So I did not plan it even so so sharp, but I asked Lyndon to go around the towns and cities to show what is to ride it around. What is special for today is that we're gonna try these big elephants on some gravel and dirt roads like this, or similar or better, we'll see. And what is really interesting for me to see how the bike actually reacts on such terrains, because I never tried before such a heavy bike on this type of terrain, so it's really interesting for me to see how it is exactly. So I don't think that it's a really good idea to turn off the traction control or ABS on these heavy bikes, because you might have more problems than actually to help doing it. It's good if you have some really technical stuff, but I don't think that you will make a technical stuff with these bikes. Let's actually see what these beasts are capable to do. The point is that it's always need to stand. If you stand, it's good. If you try to sit, for some people will be alright. I'm not saying that you have to stand most of the time, but standing position always give you this confidence and stability, and this is what I'm looking for. So what we're actually trying to do is to see how good these machines are on this type of terrains. I'm not saying that they are perfect. What I would like to say is that they are manageable. They are manageable. So if you just keep in mind always that the bike is heavy, yeah, it's absolutely manageable. Another point that is also really worth to mention is the setup before the dirt road. You really need to go to enduro mode, which one will limit the horsepower to, I think, we're 95, I'm not sure about it, and the throttle response will be a little bit softer, and this is exactly what you need actually on this type of roads. And also set the suspension to enduro mode, will be more, again, more softer, I believe. And these changes are almost like a critical of that, how the bike is going to behave on such a terrains. It will be completely different story if you have the right tires, but most of the owners of this motorcycle are not going to change the tires right before the dirt. They will ride these bikes, let's say, on the trip or somewhere around the world, and if you face terrains like that, the idea of this video is to show that it's absolutely manageable as long as you're careful. Of course, you always need to keep in mind that this is a 250 kilograms. It is not 120 dirt bike, but if you keep this in mind, it will be absolutely no problem whatsoever to ride it without crazy stuff, of course, but manageable, absolutely manageable. It will work in 90% of the cases you might need to ride, I mean on an adventure trip or whatever trip you've got, because it is not designed to stay on the dirt all the time, but it can handle it absolutely perfect without any problems. say that in the right hands, this bike really can do a lot. So, what you can do and what you cannot do with a GS 1250, it's mostly limitation of your skills. It's not exactly on the bike. Of course, you always need to keep in mind that it's a heavy bike and you cannot do what you're able to do with your light dirt bike, but with the right techniques, I'm sure you can have a really good fun. Nice truck here, huh? Wonderful. Okay. As I said, guys, the best of everything is that when you finish your ride, you can go back on the street. It doesn't mean that this is the best bike to have. No, absolutely not. I still believe that the sweet spot is like 600-700 cc. We don't really need more than that. But if you like the big bikes, if you like this type of riding style, yeah, why not just take whatever you like and enjoy it. The most important is to have fun and to enjoy your rides, your trips. Now I am with 90 kilometers per hour on 6 gear. I have 3000 RPMs and with the maximum 10,000. So with this speed, the bike will be very, very economical. We're on the way to the highway to see how it works there. What I noticed now is because of this short screen, I have a lot of wind coming into my helmet, my chest and my shoulders. So you definitely will need a tall windscreen if you plan a lot of highway miles. Alright, let's go to the highway. This is not a proper motorway, but we can speed to 120, 30, I guess, maybe even more. We'll see how it is. Alright, let's try to speed. If you want to overtake, it has more than enough power. You don't need to worry about anything, just nothing to worry about. And on that speed, 90, oh, just perfect. Squeeze the throttle and you go. Chop the throttle and you stop. The brakes are excellent, everything is good. So now I have 115, 120 with 4000 RPM. And the bike is absolutely miracle. Look at this. It's just stayed. You don't need me even. Of course, I did not expect anything else. It can easily go to 140, 50, 60. So no doubt about it. Highways are not a problem at all. But what I noticed, and you can notice it now, is such a strong wind because of the lack of the windscreen. If I go here, you will be able to hear me. But here now you cannot hear anything because of this high wind. So yeah, on the high speed you need the windscreen. I think that everything is clear from highway point of view as well. It's obvious that this bike is good for the highways, and with a tall windscreen it will be just a pleasure to ride it. Alright, my final conclusion that the bike is just wonderful. It has everything what every motorcycle traveler will ever need. For me personally, not for me, and I have three very good reasons to say that. The first one is the price. It's just too expensive. It's a wonderful bike, but I cannot afford to spend 20 or 25,000 euro for a motorcycle. The second is the weight. It is 250 kilograms. I perfectly understand that when you ride, it is not noticeable. Even on the dirt roads, it's alright. But the weight is weight, and we cannot beat the laws of physics. Sooner or later, you realize that the bike is too heavy, especially on my type of trips. Sometimes I really go to remote areas. I cannot rely on someone else to help me. And here now, many from you will argue with me and say, no, it's all right, I can lift it. Yeah, I perfectly understand. You can lift it here when you have a nice surface. You can lift it once, twice, especially because it's not going down completely because of the cylinders. You can do it once, twice, 3 times, but when you're traveling, you might be in the situation, let's say in the desert or somewhere in the remote area. It will be hot, you will be exhausted, you will be probably dehydrated, and many more like this. You might have a problem, you might be sick, and then to lift the bike the whole day around, it's an absolutely impossible task. So second is the weight, and the third one is that I don't want to say anything about reliability. I know it's a beautiful bike, the build quality is excellent, but I want to be able to fix the bike if I have any problems anywhere around the world. That's why this bike is not for me, but it doesn't mean that the bike is bad. It's absolutely brilliant. This is the top of the bikes. If you like cars, Mercedes S-Class is the best. If you like bikes, this is the top line. This is what I want to say. And now, very important, is the opinion of the long-term owner and my cameraman at the moment, Lyndon. So I have to say that my cameraman Lyndon is such an easy man. Every time when I have to record him on these 2 days, he reacts like a superstar, like always been on the camera.
Oh, no pressure.
You're great. So, Lyndon, a few very simple questions. First is, how much cost to buy a bike like this?
Okay, in the European Union, where we are, Spain, you're looking at a top model, the HP version with all the extras, circa 23,000 euros. So an expensive bike.
It is an expensive bike. And how expensive is to own it, and the maintenance and all of these intervals and all of this service you have to do all the time?
Service intervals are good. We don't have a problem with that. They're not that expensive, so I don't see that as something that's a negative. And the good thing that we did with these bikes is we could buy up to a 5-year warranty. So an amazing thing on a motorbike of this sort of standard. So you've then no real major hits down the line.
What exactly the warranty cover? Everything?
Virtually everything, yeah.
Because there are some, whether you know, the small
print,
yeah,
maybe, small print. But in the main, it's the.
You don't have issues.
We don't have issues. It's the main problems that the bike will have. Then you've got a very, very strong warranty. So that and not much depreciation on the bikes, particularly this HP model. It's very, very good on in its price holding. So just an expensive thing in the first place.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And what is your experience with the bikes you've got? Did you have any problems or any issues or some kind of glitches or whatever?
We've run a pack of 7 1200 rallies.
Yeah.
They've done between 40 to 50,000 kilometers.
Mm-hmm.
And our experience is we haven't had one problem. We've done a clutch in one now, but that's fairly natural with the riding we've done in Morocco off-road and on-road. A few tyre sensor issues, but touch wood for us, on all the major journeys and many Morocco trips, we haven't had a major problem. So
even that you do a lot of off-road trips, yeah?
A lot of off-road, hitting the bike, different people riding the bikes. We've got good experience.
And this is with the 1200 and 1250 as well, yeah?
The 1200 Rally, it's been fantastic. We've got 2 of these now. We're going to swap the whole fleet for the 1250 HP. They're just quite hard to get hold of. And so far, we haven't had any problem with these whatsoever.
All right, and something maybe many people are curious, include me. Okay, now I have my answers for me, but your opinion is very, very important because you're a long-term owner. What is the difference, the actual difference between this bike, 1250, and the old 1200? Is there any big difference?
Okay, it is different. I feel it's quite different. However, it's different at the top end of riding. If you really push the bike, it's smoother, the power lasts longer. The suspension, I think they've done a few little tweaks. It seems to be more stable. It just feels more like a sports bike to me. I ride this bike and I feel that I'd be at home on leathers and mixing in the pack with the sports bikes. The 1200 Rally is very, very similar. Feels just that little bit more comfy, not quite as edgy, not quite as sharp. But for most people, if you're going to do general riding, there's not a dramatic difference to justify the price step that you may have to pay. So for the majority of people, the 1200 one is a very, very good bike. This is a progression like they do with the 911 Porsches. It is a progression, it is better, it is faster, it is smoother. Whether that leap is enough, I really think it is. If you're riding the bike very, very hard, then it's noticeable. If you're not, which is probably 95% of the owners, then maybe the price is not justifiable.
What I noticed in the last few days is that it reacts in some stages when you really, as you said, push harder. It reacts like a sport machine, and the feeling is really great. It gives you the impression that you're riding a sport machine, which is absolutely great. I love this. I love this feeling. Yeah, absolutely wonderful. All right, so I think that this was really completed and I have finished, polished review. Do you have anything else to say about the models? Like,
I'm like the converted smoker. I'm a dirt bike rider. I used to ride Fireblade R1. We bought the BMWs as a business choice, and I was skeptical. Heavy, 250
never liked it, you
kilo
said,
bike. Yeah? It's not got a 21-inch front wheel. It's a shaft-driven bike. And then I rode it down the drive, and wow, it's balanced. So that was the first thing. The steering was the second shock. Amazing that it's so flattering, braking the bends, that the bike's just very much flattering to a rider. And now I've been all around Morocco off-road, riding it on the trails, I ride on the dirt bikes. That's really surprised me, that the bike, it isn't a Dakar bike, but it is very capable. And then you drop back on the road and you're on one of the ultimate road bikes. So I absolutely love this bike. It has blown me away in every single department. So
good.
I love it.
Good. I can confirm that the off-road is not a problem as long as you keep in mind that it's a heavy bike. Yeah.
Sure.
It's absolutely brilliant, and this suspension goes so well on the bumps. You just sit like sitting in the S-Class. Yeah, this is the feeling.
I had to say,
wonderful.
All the way around Morocco, I'd have never said that the only time I would want to be on my dirt bike was just when we came through the sand. Going through the desert, this seems to absorb the bumps more. You're not tired at the end of the day. Very capable.
All right, this was everything from me.
Everything from me.
From
Sorry.
you as well. So, guys, all of this nice review on this detailed review was fact because of Lyndon and his company Toro Adventure. So amazing, guys, absolutely wonderful service. I can confirm that after riding 2 days here and one more day tomorrow.
One more.
And I can confirm that everything is absolutely great. So if you want to find out more about them, go into the description down below. I will link everything. And I can guarantee, I can put my name on it. If you're not happy with the service, give me a call, give me a shot. I will refund all the money. Agree,
Whoa.
Yeah? You refund it to me.
Perfect.
Thank you very
That's
much.
very
for
kind.
everything, yeah?
Thank you. No, a pleasure.
Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Always ride safe and see you next time. Ciao.